good. I started the second season. I just kind of fell out of it. So many other shows. This one kept going to the bottom of the list. Where I recorded all 12 episodes of season 2, but it's just taking up space right now. I'll probably binge it if it shows up on Netflix or Amazon or something.
Any big announcements on the DC World?
DC World, nothing new. Empire magazine, an Empire movie magazine, came out with a special cover drawn by Jim Lee of Batman v Superman, and then just more photos of the production
really
stuff, which I think I'm going to start staying away from now, because something major was like a picture. Like, I can't believe they put this picture in the magazine for like fans like us that know what it's about. It's like, oh god, I can't believe I saw that. Like, I wish I didn't have that spoiled for me.
Right.
Which it was kind of, I guess, insinuated or maybe theorized or shown in one of like the trailers. Because there's like these creatures flying around in one of the trailers. Like, you kind of think about like, oh, this could possibly be such a thing.
It's a dream sequence.
It gets ruined by this picture that's put in there. So it's like, I think I'm gonna start staying away from it.
I know it's a dream sequence though.
Yeah.
It's Bruce Wayne's dream sequence.
Yeah, that got ruined by a toy called Nightmare Batman in that costume. But it's less than 2 months away, man. This is getting crazy.
We got freaking Deadpool coming up, so that's good.
Yeah, February 12th starts. I think that's when 2016 starts, February 12th.
And then after that,
because it's just going to be all movies.
When is Civil War? May
6th, I think. Yeah.
BBS is?
March 25th.
Each month we got something at least to look forward to.
Just about every single month. March also has the Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane, the beginning of the month.
Oh, I'll watch it.
I'm definitely going to that one.
Goodman is a good actor, man. He has so much range.
There's because of this trailer, like this guy that I follow and listen to, he created his own podcast about Cloverfield, going back to like the original movie and all the marketing behind it and the viral marketing. But like a slush show, the slush show stuff and theories about the movie.
So he made
so there's a podcast now about, it's called Cloverfields, because he's like such a huge fan of it, and they're talking about what could this new movie be, and yeah, they brought up the same thing you did. How this script was done a long time ago, but then it just kind of like had nothing to do with Cloverfield, but then changed into a Cloverfield thing.
Sometimes I know my stuff, bro.
You just Googled it.
Sometimes I know my stuff.
You just Googled it.
No, it was actually brought up on something else. I don't Google anything. I have my connects. Cool. I'm gonna bring my monster and we'll be good to go then. Let's see. So pretty much today is mostly about comic books, huh? I could talk about Last of Us, remastered.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens. See what goes. What goes.
Cool. So where do you want to talk about coming out of today? Where are we at today? What location you want? What do you got in mind?
I wrote up a little script I've been practicing for 3 days.
Let me see. That's what I want. We should come up with a start. Like, what's our start?
Well, that's like on the Revenant and the Suicide Squad thing. I just came up naturally. Like, what's up, nerds?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's up, nerds?
That's my thing. That's my catchphrase, I guess.
I want to do game over for the end. This is pretty much game over for us, so. Okay. Hey guys, this is Los. And then you go say. Hey,
I was thinking just starting up and just reading that, and then you can.
Okay, it's easy.
You go off a bit too if you want.
Want to do Batcave today? No, we gotta save that for BBS.
We could do something else as far as when BBS comes out. Like.
No, I'm saying we can save Batcave for BBS.
What do you want to come up with then?
Let's keep it with generated with what each issue is about. So today we're talking about comic books.
I was thinking just random kind of thing. It's like every just start off with.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like
anything
maybe
joke, but not sticking with the topic because we just always go off.
That's true.
Topic. So.
Star Labs.
And then what?
No, today Star Labs then.
No, but like, what? You just from Star Labs and that's it? Because I even wrote a joke, man.
Oh, you did. All right, fine. We'll go with that. We'll come up with another one for next week. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, like one week you do one. We'll alternate.
That's fine. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna be talking about a couple comic books. You have your batch. I have my batch. TV show related.
TV show news. All I even know about is. Nothing new. I still haven't watched the Agent Carters. Those are still on my DVR. I'm behind last week's episodes of Flash and Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. X-Files. I haven't watched any of those. I kind of was irritated because the football went long, and the post-game show kind of
went over the
preempted.
show?
Yeah, so like I didn't catch the last 20 minutes of the X-Files because I don't record it in an hour. So I'll have to catch up on those somehow online.
Alright. Ready to start?
Alright, so we'll just natural flow, I guess.
I always get the jitters before I start. Don't you?
Not the last two because you started. Now this time, if I start, I'm overanalyzing it. I gotta relax. It's like talking to a girl. What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of Nerdy Entertainment Syndicate. We are coming to you from the NES headquarters in the Batcave, which, by the way, we had to fire Alfred because he's let too many people down here. I'm your co-host, Bat Mandrew.
Hi, I'm Los. How you guys doing?
What's happening, guys?
So what's on our agenda today, brother?
It's been a slow news week.
It has.
As far as, especially the last two episodes, we've been talking all DC. Still not much Marvel news as far as movies or TV front. What have you been up to since?
I've been just trying to catch up on a couple new reads, trying a couple comics out. So today I'll be talking about what I'm reading, two recommendations, and I'm also going to talk about that Crisis on Infinite Earths. And since it's such a huge book, I'm just going to break it up in parts. And today I'm just going to talk about the intro of it and just talk how it combines parallel worlds, which back then wasn't really used as much, and now it's pretty much used every other year.
Very common to multiverses or World Earth 2 and other worlds. Even Marvel does that stuff.
Correct, right? But when it was done for that book, it was for a purpose, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
And is that volume 1 you have right
here? What I have right now in my hand is Old Man Logan, and for those of you that have not read anything about Old Man Logan, it's a good story, and now the one I have in my hand right now, this takes place in the Old Man Logan world, but there's a little bit more story to it. This new comic that just came out this past week deals with Wolverine somehow being transported back in time, but the time that he's transported to is kind of in the future, if you know what I mean.
So this one here that you have, this issue number 1, is a current number 1?
It's current right now, yes.
Because there's an older Old Man Logan storyline, right? Correct. And this just goes back to that world?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to get to the details of that, it's a great read. If you guys haven't read anything about Old Man Logan, I say go out there and do so. What happened is, the premise is that the villains all combined. They all pitched in together and pretty much overthrew all the heroes. And, you got every named hero is pretty much dead, lost, forgotten.
The The original Old Man Logan.
The original Old Man Logan.
That includes all the X-Men's and the Spider-Man.
Yes, and won't get too much into details on that, but I'll give you just the gist of it. One crazy story in that is that Wolverine woke up with the X-Mansion being attacked by all these villains. So he goes on a rampage. He goes berserk and starts killing everybody. But then at the end, when he finally kills everyone, he sees that they weren't really villains. It was all a mirage, I guess. So when the veil is removed, he sees that he slaughtered all the X-Men.
Oh.
He killed all of the X-Men.
Oh, shit.
And he just broke down. He walked away from the mansion with blood in his hands. I mean, it goes into more details, but I'm just going, just a quick overview. He's coming out. He goes to a train track, lays his head on the tracks, and pretty much just lets a train run him over. Of course, he doesn't die. And from that moment on, he promised that he'll never, do the sneaked.
He's never sneaked again.
He's never sneaked, his little claws out again. So that's his stories. There's other stories, But, and then you fast forward to Old Man Logan, who he's married. He has 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The world's pretty much, in ruins, ruled by villains. The Hulk, he's kind of a shady character here. But believe it or not, the Hulk ends up getting married to his cousin, who is the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And because nobody can take the Hulk dick, I guess. That's pretty much the reason why.
I heard the story. It was kind of bonkers. I heard about this story.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody could take the pounding from the Hulk. So.
And that's another reason why the third Wolverine movie can't be made actually with the Old Man Logan storyline.
Correct.
Because the kind of fans want it. Even Jackman has kind of hinted towards it.
It would be amazing, and they would make it just a different, completely different story to it. Just keep some elements.
But just because Fox doesn't have the rights to all those Marvel characters like the Hulk, they can't use it in this storyline.
True, but the whole Spider-Man, the Sony with Disney thing, that could open up doors,
Borrowing, yeah.
But anyways, so there's a lot of inbreeding.
Yeah.
So they're like Hulk rednecks, so from what I remember, he owed them some money, and so he's trying to make his wages so he can pay off the Hulks. And when he's away, the Hulks, one of their kids, cousins, brothers, sisters, mama, pa, whatever you want to call it, pay a visit to the house, and it doesn't go well.
How are there so many Hulks?
All inbreeding.
So Hulk and She-Hulk.
Yep.
All these.
They pretty much created the whole Hulk world there.
Does that have anything to do with Planet Hulk?
No. That's completely different. Planet Hulk is about pretty much Banner losing it as the Hulk and them not being able to kill him. He destroys, I believe, almost all of Manhattan or New York, something. But he goes trip crazy, and they pretty much shoot him out in space.
Okay, so nothing.
But nothing.
So all this inbreeding from.
So all this inbreeding, and he has a. So Logan comes back, sees his family dead, and has a vendetta, and it goes on from there. But I suggest you go back for people who haven't read that, series. Read that. It's short. It's nothing.
It's not that long ago. So from 2008.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
So that was fairly recent. Okay.
Yeah, and it was based on a Wolverine comic book.
Okay.
So it wasn't like its own individual copies or anything like that. It was just a short story into the Wolverine comic book. And I think it was like 5 or 6 issues. It wasn't that long. That arc.
Yeah, 66 to 72.
Yeah, see, so
issues.
Yeah, it wasn't that long, but it was a great read. And he gets helped out by a Hawkeye who's blind, but he's able to drive and do all this crazy stuff. But it was a good read. So just knowing that beginning, what I told you. The start of Old Man Logan #1. It starts with him waking up in New York, and him not knowing how he got there, and then getting tased by the cops because there's an old naked dude, and him finally running away and able to find shelter and get clothes, and all this lost memories come flooding back to him, and he remembers, and he realizes that he's in the past. So that's what I'm saying. The future meets the past kind of
Mm.
deal. You know what I mean? So he knows that he made a lot of mistakes. So he says this is like his second chance. You know. So he goes about to right the wrongs or stop the wrongs that he should have stopped. And that's pretty much where Old Man Logan 1 starts. And it's a good read. And since I loved Old Man Logan, I was like, well, give this one a try.
That's cool. I like how they did that. Like, taking this new story, like maybe chapters of a story every few years or so. That's cool.
Yeah. Enjoyed it.
It's the same writer as the original one, the Old Man Logan.
I'm not sure.
That one's Michael Bendis, is it? Or no?
Mm-mm.
Is that Jeff Lemire?
Mm-hmm. Jeff Lemire.
Mark Millar wrote the first one, then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, you Wolverine fans out there, pick it up, man. Great read. But first, don't forget to pick up Old Man Logan, the first run, which was on Wolverine comic book. And it was Wolverine 66 to 72.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 2008.
So go to your comic book shop, go eBay, Amazon, wherever you can, and just get that. I mean, or, torrent it, which, I mean, sounds bad, but it's a good way to get into a comic book, and if you like it, buy it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I had done too. Like, first getting into this, I would torrent some comics, read maybe 5 to 10 issues, and I'd actually go buy like the first volume, or even go look for the back issues and buy number 1 through whatever I just read, just to have them, because I like having them.
Yeah, don't be a chum and just download, help out, the comic book world.
Especially, you got to chip in the comic book, spend your money for it.
Yeah. So that's one of the comic books I dropped, and my quick review on it. I know you bat yourself.
Yeah, I actually brought some just to show you my backlog, some of my backlog, because I pulled all these issues out of my long box to kind of just like set up the piles of what I need to start reading. And Justice League, starting at number 40, is the Darkseid War.
Oh.
So there's a big storyline including Darkseid.
And
it actually goes to...
You've read this one right now, or you have?
Number 40, I've read. I gotta go back and read it because it's been a while.
Tell me about that
I went to it. It includes... I think we maybe mentioned it in the first or second episode about the Metron and the Old Gods, right?
Metron.
Old Gods?
Yeah, and I mentioned how... I'm trying to remember. I know they have to do a lot with Crisis.
Yeah. I remember we were talking about Crisis. I think it was last episode. We brought up the Old Gods in Genesis, or New Genesis.
Yeah, New Genesis is the newer gods.
And Genesis here, New Genesis in this one. So this is one I need to read up on my backlog. And to change the pace, because I read more than just DC, I do a lot of like indie comics, or even... Here's an indie comic that I got into because due to conventions, there's a lot of steampunk.
Oh yeah, steampunk has a big following, man.
Steampunk cosplay. And I like the aesthetic of it. I like the idea behind it, too. It's Victorian sci-fi.
And they get very creative.
Very inventive. That's what I love about it.
And I enjoy when they convert heroes into that steampunk world. We've seen Stormtroopers, Vader, Wolverine, Star Wars, every other superhero in a steampunk universe, which is extremely creative. And that world that people really fall into it when they start making their own, cosplay. I don't know if to say cosplay. Well, I mean, I guess,
it's still cosplay.
They make their own persona, with their top hats and their
characters
goggles.
they create, and existing characters that they turn into steampunk. It's really cool. I saw my first experience with that steampunk cosplay was a group DC steampunk cosplay.
Oh, okay.
They all looked so awesome. Like, I met one of them. She was cosplaying as Batwoman, and now I follow her on Twitter, and like I see her at every convention, and we talk, and like she's super cool. And it was so I got into steampunk, just the aesthetic of it, and again the idea of Victorian sci-fi. There's this artist and writer, Joe Benitez, who came up with Lady Mechanica. It's a really good storyline. I read the first volume. He's working on the second volume right now. But this main character, Lady Mechanica, she's kind of a cyborgy type of character.
Okay.
And she kind of has almost an amnesia. She doesn't know where she came from. So that's her story. The first volume is like trying to find out where she comes from. But the art aesthetic, the art is beautiful. I love his artwork too. That's another reason why I got into.
And it's maintained the same artist throughout.
Yeah, same writer, same artist, Joe Benitez. It's started 2012, and he's barely issue 5 or 6 of volume 2. The first volume was 5 issues. So because he is independently doing it himself, it takes a while. But these are really good. Just, I mean, the artwork itself.
And it's who are the distributor? Aspen?
It's Aspen Comics. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see this guy at conventions all the time. Really cool guy. Really great artist.
All right. And talking about indie, I like also getting into indie stuff. Currently reading, first comic book I bought from Avatar is called Code Prue. Now Avatar, they have some pretty graphic stories out there, man. I know you've seen it, come across the title, Recover Crossed.
Crossed, yeah.
Have you read any of those, or have you just?
I've not read any of it, but I've seen it, and I've heard that it's pretty graphic and
extremely graphic. Yeah. It's pretty much zombie meets apocalypse.
Yeah. /
the plague, triple, quadruple X. I mean, just to give you hints, you'll see guys with faces that were torn off, made into sex dolls. Guy wearing a necklace filled of chopped off dicks. You know, it's that graphic. It's not for any kind of kid stuff, so yeah. Of course, but it's good sometimes to just try something out, you know. And I liked it. I read all up on Crossed. They're about over 100 issues deep. It's just an ongoing world. So really good read. And so I knew them. So when I saw Code Prue, I was like, let me just give it a try. And it deals with a girl, Prue. Starts off that she's in a room with her roommates who are, from what it seems, they're witches, I guess, gothic witches. I mean, they're just nothing really crazy backstory. It just shows them in a room and they're, trying to do, what was it, like the Ouija board. And she, Prue has been like, I guess, like a bitch to one of the other roommates, and they get in an argument. There's some tension there.
It sounds almost like, remember that movie Craft?
Yeah, similar-esque, I guess. I mean, not really, but kind of that idea.
And the artist, I see the artist on there, or the writer, is that Garth Ennis?
Mm-hmm.
That's a name I've heard before.
Oh yeah.
So he's written. What has he written that I wouldn't know? Oh, okay. He's written some Hellblazer stuff.
Yep. Judge Dredd, big fan of Judge Dredd.
Garth Ennis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the writer names that I've heard about, like getting into comics. It's like, these are the kind of writers. Oh, and The Boys, right? That you read The Boys. And Preacher too. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Garth Ennis.
Yeah. So
that's the name.
There's a bunch of comics I've already talked in past issues of our podcast. So why not pick up something like this? So The Boys graphic, Hellblazer graphic. So nothing different here. But so far I liked it. They're still not sure what direction they're going to go on. I mean, of course, it's going to deal with the occult.
You're just at issue 1.
Issue 1, exactly. So it definitely deals with the cult. There's already a guy talking to, seems like a possible goth god or a demigod in a prison cell. They still don't know about that god. It looks, deformed octopus with multiple eyes, a bunch of eyes. So, I mean, I can show you the art right now. And it's in black and white, non-color, which adds a little aesthetic to it,
Yeah. I got used to the black and white because of The Walking Dead. Actual comics in black and white.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's something new, and Garth Ennis is pretty crazy sometimes. So I liked it, and I'm gonna continue reading it, until maybe I lose interest. But so far, first issue was pretty great. If you guys want to try something that it's about the cult and pretty graphic and just not your everyday kid stories, and then pick up Code Prue. So far, first issue was not too bad. We'll wait until like 6 or 7, and maybe it's something to keep. But so far, I liked it.
I usually go to about issue 10 on certain comics to see if I'm going to stick with it or not.
So you pretty much want to finish that one arc, whatever it started.
Yeah, one volume or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Code Prue. I'm definitely going to pick that up. Keeping with the almost horror themed that you just brought up.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more issues that I brought are these 3 are horror themed. Empire of the Dead, which is actually a Marvel title, so I do read Marvel.
Now, what made you pick that one up?
Backlog, because the name on the top right there.
Oh, George Romero.
George A. Romero, the
Godfather of
zombies.
Yeah,
I'm a huge zombie fan. So knowing that he was going to write the zombie comic book.
No. You say you're a huge zombie fan. I know that is true, because you do also have a tattoo on yourself.
I have 3 tattoos.
Of zombie?
3 zombie tattoos.
Oh, okay. Now explain this.
3 zombie tattoos. 2 of them are from artist Tony Moore, who is the original artist of The Walking Dead.
Which was
the
what,
comic
2
book.
episodes? 2 comics?
6 issues.
6 issues? Okay.
He did the first 6 issues. And I have a 3rd zombie tattoo.
Which is Zombie Tramp?
Known as Zombie Tramp. That's another indie title, and I love the artwork on that one. I love.
Did you pick that one up because of conventions?
Yeah.
See, another reason why I enjoy going to conventions, you get to meet new artists, new reads, and you never know, you might end up liking something.
I've met so many people with trying to sell you their story, and then getting to know them is super cool. Like see them at every convention. So Empire of the Dead from George Romero. This is a zombie series from Marvel that, again, a backlog I have to catch up on. Outcast. This is written by Robert Kirkman, writer of The Walking Dead. It's another horror story. This is based on like exorcism type.
Okay.
Exorcisms and possessions. Occult type stuff, yeah. And the 3rd one is called Wraith. W-R-A-I-T-H.
I want to say I've heard about this one.
This one's a short run. It's done by Joe Hill, who is also a novelist.
Lock and Key.
Lock and Key. There you go. He wrote a great horror series called Lock and Key. Comic book series. He also wrote a book called Nosferatu. N-O-S, the number 4, the letter A and 2, Nosferatu.
Okay.
And from that story came this comic book, Wraith. It's like a 7-issue run. This is dark. I read the book, and I loved the book. As from Wraith, the Nosferatu book, I became a huge fan of Joe Hill's. I read, he also wrote a book called Horns, which was done into a movie
with Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on, you can watch it on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix.
That ending, man. It's
a trippy movie. It's a weird story, and it's very weird.
Yeah, I believe, what was the ending? Spoilers. He made the wrong choice, right? Instead of forgiving.
Well, the basic gist of the story, Horns, is this guy, the main character, wakes up with horns on his head, like a night of drunken debauchery. Wakes up, he's got horns on his head, and soon comes to discover that anybody he's around starts like just telling him they're confessing like deep secrets or like dark urges, whatever they like want to do. Like there's the first person he comes into contact with is this girl that he just slept with, and she starts like stuffing donuts in her mouth, like, oh, I need to have these donuts, but I'm too embarrassed because you'll probably think I'm a pig. And he's like, well, you can do whatever you want, that's fine. So she starts stuffing like this box of donuts in her mouth, and just these interactions with people, these horns that he has on his head brings out these confessions, and what it turns out to be is he's turning into like a devil, and people are just confessing and doing evil things. And as far as the movie, it takes that, and the ending's a bit different.
Yeah. Oh, then from the book?
Yeah, it's different from the book.
Oh, okay.
So I really like the book, but you just had to adapt it for the screen, and it worked because it's a funny story. It's really weird. It's complicated, but the way they adapted it for the movie is really good.
Yeah, I definitely only watched it because you told me about it, and I liked it. It wasn't too bad at all. And then the next thing I'm going to be talking about is actually Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is done by Marv Wolfman and drawn by George Perez.
I've heard George Perez.
Big name.
Classic artist.
Mm-hmm. Now, Wolfman, it's cool because Wolfman talks about how he liked crossovers stories. He said he was a big fan of the JSA and JLA crossovers.
Justice Society of
America.
JSA.
Yes, which was, 50 Golden Age?
Golden Age era. I want to actually go back to correction. Remember how last time I told you that JSA did come back for a short run?
Yeah.
It was actually Justice League of America, not Justice Society. So I had that wrong.
See, I knew it. That's when you told me. I was like, but hey.
Yeah, I was thrown off. It was Justice League of America, not Justice Society.
Yeah. So he was a big fan growing up of those crossovers, and when he was able to work as a writer and broke into comics, he always brought the idea of doing one big major crossover, and he also talked about how new readers, it's hard for them to get involved when there's so much going on already. It might seem like overwhelming.
Yeah.
So he thought of the idea of making Crisis. He actually had the idea for quite a while, and took a couple of years for finally coming to fruition, and he thought it was gonna be a good way to pretty much draw new readers in and let them see what's going on. And the way it starts out is that there's parallel Earths with maybe the same heroes but they differ in certain aspects, like that. And with the way the book starts, it shows you different worlds, and you start seeing each world. It's just slowly disintegrating, and you see mass panic. You see people running, and then you see a specific character. Oh God, what's his name?
Real quick before you get into that, you mentioned this was created in order to get new readers in.
Correct.
So you don't need to know anything as far as like the previous existing storylines.
No.
Before this.
If anything, no, you don't, because this is gonna reset everything.
Okay.
And honestly, and this pretty much is honestly the guidebook to how comic books now handle restarts, I guess, reboots, and it's in a way it's kind of diminished what the actual book was meant to do. It almost seems like I was telling you, like every other year there's a new crisis, but the sole purpose really of this book was to bring new readers in, and from what they talk about, it brought new readers and introduced to a new new era of people. But anyway, so it starts with a planet being destroyed, and you see a green character who's just crying because he's seeing people die and getting destroyed, and when the planet finally gets destroyed, he's getting phased out, and he's screaming that how much more do I need to take of these? And then you see him in another Earth, and it's pretty much the same thing. So it seems like he is meant to witness everything that's going on. I mean, I know how it ends, but I'm just telling you,
So like in let's say each dimension, this same character is experiencing the same thing.
It's him. He's being transmitted to that dimension.
Okay, so this one character travels each dimension and seeing
all
this stuff happen.
Correct. And there's nothing he can do. He's helpless. He's screaming. He wants to help, but he can't. He's not allowed to.
Who's this character that's seeing this?
Oh God, the pariah. He's the pariah. There you go. So the pariah, he's witnessing all the destruction of the Earth, and then he appears in another Earth. I believe it's Earth 3. Yeah, it's Earth 3, where it's what is it? Syndicate.
Crime Syndicate.
Crime Syndicate. Okay. So it's Ultraman, Ultraman, aka Superman.
I know that from just recently they did a Forever Evil, it was called, with the Crime Syndicate. Okay.
So yeah.
So they're in that. That's cool.
And then you got the Power Ring, which is Green Lantern. You got Johnny Quick, which is Flash. You got Superwoman, which is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then you got Owlman, which is Batman.
The Batman character. Yeah.
So in this world, these heroes use their powers. Well, not heroes; they're anti-heroes. Use their powers to further their gain. Just to be selfish. So they pretty much rule the world. And believe it or not, they're the only hero in that world. Who do you think it is? If these are all the heroes are the anti-heroes, who's anti-villain?
Who would that be?
Who do you think? A well-known villain that everybody in the world will probably know.
But yeah, based on like the main major list of characters, I'm thinking either Lex or
Lex.
Yeah.
Lex is the hero, and he uses science and everything. So Earth 3, you see the Crime Syndicate trying to stop all the disasters going on because of this vaporization of the world that's going on, and they feel powerless, and they're just talking about to each other how powerful they are. They've used it for their own gains, and they can't do anything right now. And then Luthor, pretty much powerless as well, goes back to his base with his wife, which is Lois Lane, and realizing that there's nothing they can do, they have their baby, and just see where you think this is going. So they want to save the baby, not themselves. So they happen to have a little rocket ship, and they put the baby in that rocket ship, and he knows about the parallel world, and he's able to send the ship out into a different world.
Luthor knows about this parallel.
And he sends the ship out as his world is pretty much destroyed and all the heroes are wiped out. And Ultraman is seen flying towards in the comic it's drawn as like white disintegrating into like the city, if you can see it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's if you guys can picture a panel with half the city there, then half the city kind of white, and the middle of that would be like debris. So you can see the white page part just covering the city. You see Ultraman flying into it, and he starts saying that he's never flown away from anything, from any challenge kind of deal. So he goes away that way, and then you finally get to see more of what's going on. You get to see this lady. Her name is Harbinger.
Okay.
And she's talking to someone that we identify now. It's his name is the Monitor. He's monitoring all the worlds, and he's seeing what's going on. That each world's being destroyed one after the other. So he sends her out to recruit villains and heroes alike to help out with stopping this destruction. And we'll leave it at there. It's a good start. And like I said, I'll continue with more of this with other episodes. But you can already tell that it's going to involve the who's who, and it will involve other, side characters you've never ever heard of. And this is the book, my first full book, that I've completely read that really hooked me into comic, like officially latched on to everything.
Including the side stories you read.
Correct.
Okay, because I saw, I think what may have been the complete story from beginning to end, including all those side stories. And this book was massive. It was a thick book, and it was like in large pages too.
Mm-hmm.
This story is huge. How long does the story span?
This?
As far as timeline from when it was written to when it was finished.
I know it took about 4 years to finish.
4 years.
Like I don't know how long the run was, but I know that it was in 1981. Wolfman and Perez had everything like in their head. I know what they wanted to do is research. That's what it was. It took them 4 years of research of looking at all their catalog.
Oh, 4 years of research.
Yeah, because they wanted to. They were digging deep. They were going deep, and Wolfman goes on to say here, and even in the book, how they were looking for obscure characters, they long forgotten, just so they can include everybody in this.
Wow.
And the cover that I have, drawn by Alex Ross, is amazing. Just the number
of characters
on this. It's amazing.
This actual little section on the cover with the Alex Ross stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was this used for that Justice, or it looks like the cover of Justice?
It looks like it, but it's not.
Like a
No, it's not. Which we should get one a day to talk about that. Justice, DC, read about.
Yeah, the Mark Waid, Alex Ross.
If villains, remember I told you, Old Man Logan.
Uh-huh.
Villains got together.
Yeah,
to pretty much the same thing with DC, but in DC world.
That was a really cool story. That one you told me about too.
Yeah. So I'll do another.
So it was 4 years of research, and then the story took a year. So right,
mm-hmm.
So 85 to 86.
Yeah,
that's huge.
So 81, they were given the green light to do this, and finally 85 they were able to do it. So that's 4 years of research.
So this is impressive, because when I started reading comics, reading maybe 4, 5, 6 issues and seeing like it's just one story arc in like 5 or 6 issues kind of caught me off guard, because I thought all these things like just went on, from issue 1 until just this continuous story, like on and on and on and on. So I was kind of caught off guard.
So you think 100 is part of the same run? You didn't think there was arcs?
That's what I had thought at first when I started reading comics.
Understandable.
When I finished off like a story and it was only
because you're thinking books,
exactly.
It's just like the book keeps going, Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So for this to take a year, that's a long story to read. That is really impressive.
Yeah, and then you got great artist George Perez. Him and Wolfman and Perez, they got together to create the New Teen Titans, and they pretty much made it the #1 hit in DC when they got together.
Really?
Yeah, and from that, and that's when they were given the green light to
that's basically all the sidekicks.
Mm-hmm.
Teen Titans.
Correct, and they got the green light to do this Crisis of Infinite Earths. But Crisis is pretty much known in DC when they do big reboots, because you got Crisis, Identity Crisis, Crisis of Infinite Earth, and then you got Infinite Crisis right there. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you just explained with the Monitor, seeing all the stuff that happens, that's similar to what I just mentioned, the Darkseid War. That issue 40 starts off with the Monitor. He kind of tells you that he's the guy that goes through through each of all these worlds and sees the same thing happen from beginning to end, the beginning of worlds and the end of worlds, and it's just like a cycle that repeats over and over and over. And then in this storyline, it tells you kind of almost not so much the origin of Darkseid. Does this guy look familiar? Does it have that face there?
No. Yeah, that's the Anti-Monitor.
The Anti-Monitor, yeah.
That's the Anti-Monitor. So they're bringing him back for this, huh?
Yeah, so they got Metron.
And it's crazy that I've seen Metron now and being able to see him in like the back reads of all these different crises and stuff. So it's a trip how far some of these books have gone. See, here's a picture of the Anti-Monitor.
That big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in here. He's in here too. It's this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This panel in this new Darkseid War.
This has already happened.
This narrative that he watched all the universes fall. So this is straight out of your Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
How they reach out?
Yeah.
Reach back?
That's such a trip.
Because this has happened.
Yeah, because even the artwork is very, just like that old school artwork.
Well,
if you look at the characters when they're drawn.
He's for you guys on the pod. He's on a splash page where it has an Anti-Monitor.
So this is okay.
What's his name?
So this is showing. Yeah, this news story is actually going through back, showing you previous crises, showing you the end of all this stuff.
It's gonna kill me with
showing even Flashpoint Paradox here.
Does it show Flashpoint Paradox?
Yeah, we got Flash, Reverse Flash. We have Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne.
The Spectre. That's
Spectre.
God damn, it was killing me.
Was he big in the Hellblazer world? Was he like a main character?
No, he had cameos in there. Yeah.
Okay, because I've seen him. He was mentioned in a TV show, and I saw him just briefly in like a
Yeah.
little bit of what I've read.
He had his cameos.
Another thing later on.
Here you go.
Oh, Spectre.
Look at that.
That's a
Told
trip.
you. Crisis on Infinite Earths has a little splash page of the Spectre and the Anti-Monitor, which has been showed in Justice League. What is that? Justice League 40?
From the New 52 Justice League issue 40. But later on, somehow, they show like one of the covers of this, maybe like a few issues down.
Uh-huh.
It shows Batman. I guess has that Metron power because he's in that Metron chair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, one thing about Crisis on Infinite Earths, a lot of heroes are killed. A lot of heroes are killed, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Something I was like, oh, I didn't know they can do that. You know? So, I'll continue this report on the NES podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know they can kill off heroes until they killed off Superman. The death of Superman.
The Doomsday.
The Doomsday Death of Superman.
So that's pretty much it on our comics today. Let's see.
It's been slow going. You know,
Yeah.
you still got the house you're working on. I started school, so.
You know, but
It's taking up a lot
also
of time.
this week, I finally was able to play Last of Us,
The Last of Us.
the
finally.
remake on the PS4. It plays like a movie. I haven't finished it. I'm in a part where the main character that you play has finally found a battery. And early on in the game, you have a friend. Her name is Tess.
But to begin with, the main basic story of The Last of Us. Which
Yeah,
is
sorry about that. Yeah.
Unbelievable games. Only for PS, PlayStations, PlayStation 3 and 4. Highly recommend it. Developer Naughty Dog. The developer of the Uncharted games, if you played those, which are also brilliant games. So much fun. The Last of Us is set in a future apocalyptic type of
Yes, and
world.
it deals with
End of civilization.
a virus/fungus.
Yeah, this was actually inspired by a real life type of virus, fungus type of. Did you know about this?
Oh, the one that takes over insects.
Takes over the ants.
Yeah. Have you seen? Yeah.
I've seen
YouTube videos.
videos.
Isn't that insane?
It's creepy.
It's pretty much a fungus that takes over an insect. That fungus takes over specific insects too.
Yeah.
And it'll make them be suicidal.
It takes over their brain, and it almost kind of creates a tumor. So like, it's a growth that's coming out of
Yes,
their head.
and other insects, or for the ants, I know that they're able to detect it, and they'll take that insect out so it can die on its own. And when it does, you can see the fungus growing out of their head.
It's so weird.
And break its spores open. We gotta look up the videos.
Look up on YouTube.
Because I know there's one specific for ants. There's for grasshoppers. But anyways, so in this video game, what happened is that in the beginning there's an unknown virus or plague going around. People start turning violent and cannibalism, pretty much. You know, they're kind of like zombie style. It was a fungus with zombies, right? So you take character, what's his name? Rick?
Joel and Ellie.
Joel
and Ellie are the main characters that you play as.
Joel has his daughter killed by the army. Spoilers alert, I guess. But this game has been out for quite a bit, so either way, spoilers alert.
It's in the first maybe 15 minutes of the game.
God, but that was so in the feels.
It's heart-wrenching.
It is heart-wrenching. You see a father running with his daughter in his hands.
They're trying to escape
this fungus zombie.
The infected people.
And he sees a military guy who saves his life because he shoots a couple of infected fungi people. So, cool, no big deal. And then you see the army guy say, hey, hold it right there. Starts talking to someone over the radio, probably his higher-ups.
Yeah.
And he goes quiet, and you know what's going to happen. And then he shoots Joel. And Joel flinches and is able to fall back, tosses his daughter. He's rolling on the ground. Military guy goes over to where Joel is at, is about to pull the trigger when his friend Tommy shoots the army guy. So that happens. And then you hear his daughter's cry of pain. Oh my God, man. That was some feels there. And then you just see her holding her abdomen with blood. Oh my God. It's just
video game we're talking about.
It is. But you feel and you hear the hurt in her voice. Just the pain she's feeling, and him powerless, helpless, and just like that, she fades away.
Over the last few years, just voice acting performances over video games has just gone Oscar-worthy performances.
Now, do you think that has to do with video games being accepted as a legitimate business? It's just not. It's not. Oh, it's for kids, kind of. Like comic book now. Oh, it's not just for kids.
Yeah, because a lot of these are very adult storyline type of stuff. They're dark themed. They're horror themed. This fungus that takes over a person's brain. It's not kid fare.
No, and God, like I said, so much that little girl, her crying for her dad, and just oh my God. Little tear almost came out, but I manned it up. I screamed at it to get back in, and it was good. I could handle it.
Yeah, I figured you being a dad, having a little girl, that would have hit you hard.
Yeah, it hit me, but
because it hit me, and I don't have kids.
Yeah.
It was like,
but make a point not to cry. So I told him get the fuck back in my eye.
You have to be human, man.
No, I'm fucking man.
I just cried
fucking
today.
Mullet, Eagles, American flag.
I cried for fun today. You have to show emotion.
But anyways, what is it? I once had an awkward moment just to see how it felt like. The most interesting man in the world. But anyways, and then fast forward to 20 years into the future, where pretty much this fungi spore thing has spread and just turned into apocalypse. Typical, and honestly, every typical cliche apocalypse world.
Yeah.
Cities are in ruins. There's factions. The government is pretty much ruling the world or the city to a point where they're just paramilitary status. They're just a militia kind of deal.
Yeah, just to survive. You're fighting for yourself.
Correct. Exactly. You just look for yourself. And you take over that character, and you go with survival instincts, and it's pretty good. Easy gameplay mechanics. And I haven't played the original one. I'm playing the remastered, and it just looks simply amazing. The smoothness, how there's really no load screens. It's just amazing. It's just beautifully done. It's very fun, and like I said, I haven't gone too far into it, so I'm excited to see what else is done. So, I just started Last of Us, like I said, and finished The Evil Within.
Okay. And also just going back to last time, just because you said it looks so good and plays so good on the PS4, I have it on PS3. I'm thinking of actually getting it for the PS4 and replaying it. And it's tough because I know the story and I know what you go through. It's hard to get back into that game for me to like think about playing it again.
Because you're putting your emotions in it.
Yeah, because it's not like a fun action adventure game. You're gonna have a good time. It's a fun game.
But you're invested.
It's more
emotionally invested.
It's more of an experience you're playing through, and it's more than a video game. It's intense. It's very good, and I still every once in a while catch on YouTube like going back to it, like because I love the soundtrack to it. It's a beautiful soundtrack. And have you seen these behind the scenes video of their motion capture of the actors performing it? Even just watching them.
I'm pretty sure you can unlock it in the game too.
I don't remember seeing it from the game. Maybe it's on the PS4 version.
Yeah.
But not the PS3. But even just on YouTube, watching them behind the scenes, doing the performances is just amazing. Just
mocap?
The motion capture.
Yeah, mocap.
But just watching these actors as the people they are in real life perform this stuff, it's almost heavier than just watching the video game. Even though they're in the funny suits with the dots all over them. Just overall, it's a brilliant game. It's so well made.
So yeah, I was like I said, I was telling you earlier when we started, I was playing The Evil Within. Finally finished that one, and God, I'm gonna have to play it again because there's so much to do in it. But I'm glad it was over. Too many times my heart was racing. A lot of jump scares, a lot of good eerie sound and music that you feel like something's gonna happen, but nothing happens. But you just waiting for it, it just kills you, man. Your heart is racing.
That's what makes a good horror movie is the tension.
Yeah.
Because it's just building that tension and it stretches and you're like waiting for that release of the scare.
That never comes. But then when you let your guard down, it comes and you're just like, ugh.
I have that one, still haven't played it. Have you played Outlast?
Outlast? Which one was that one, no?
That's that first person game where you're just like a reporter and all you have is a night vision camera. And you go into an insane asylum, and you try to figure out like the mystery behind it, because you get sent some mysterious package with like information about this asylum.
No, but I can get into it. I love games like that, man.
Yeah, that's on the PS4, downloadable content. I've played through maybe the first little section of it, where at the end of this major section, there's like a big scare, and I haven't been able to pick up the controller again because it's so scary. I have not played that game since.
Oh my God, I enjoy scary movies, man.
I love it.
Silent Hill will always be my go-to scary game. Just that is. I don't know if you played the first one.
I played the first three, two completely, and half.
Did you play the first one? The first one?
Yeah.
Oh man, when you had that radio, and if it got staticky, that means there was something around you. Oh my God, just hearing that, just hearing the static, and you're just like not being able to see where it's coming from, just.
And then once you hear the little clicks or whatever,
yeah,
the monster, and you don't know where
the wings is back. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's kind of hard to go back to those because of the old style of pixelated figures, the blocky figures. The gameplay's not as smooth as they are now and like quick.
Those are your roots, man. That's not my scary game roots right there, man.
That's true.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I started with Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
You know, I like Resident Evil. But I couldn't become a fan like I am of Silent Hill. Because I honestly played them together at the same time. And Silent Hill I'm surprised Silent Hill didn't get the same amount of fanfare. I'm not saying it didn't, but not the same amount as that Resident Evil did. Yeah. I thought overall it was a better game, scarier, and a better story.
I don't remember the story so much because they were so long ago. I just remember the skills and the scares and the experiences of it.
Silent Hill, or
the Silent Hill.
Oh my God, it's a crazy own world. And then we could have had that amazing Guillermo del Toro, Hideo Kojima. Oh my God, what could have been?
Yeah, we're talking about PlayStation 4 released a
demo.
It was a playable trailer, which is why the game was actually called PT, playable trailer, but it was kind of a backdoor Easter egg to a new Silent Hill game, being I guess produced or written or done by
collaborated with Hideo Kojima,
who's a big name in the video game industry.
Yep, because of Metal Gear Solid, or the Metal Gear franchise, and Guillermo del Toro. Which, come on, Pan's Labyrinth.
If you're listening to this podcast, you should know who they are.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Come on.
You just have to.
Pan's Labyrinth, you got Pacific Rim, most recent Crimson Peak.
Which it's a great movie, and it's not a scary movie. It's not. I mean,
it was marketed wrong.
It was marketed as a scary. It was marketed as a scary movie.
It was put out during the October Halloween.
Yeah, and it's just a movie that happens to have ghosts, but it's not a scary movie in that aspect. It's not horror.
Yeah, I started watching it online, like the little movie apps. Mm-hmm. It's a movie that needs to be experienced on the big screen. If you didn't watch it in theaters, I missed out. I don't know why I skipped out on that one. Seeing how beautiful it was. I mean, Guillermo del Toro movies just have to be watched on big screen. Just the cinematography of it all.
And
the
his
visuals.
Monster designs, the designs he has for demons, Scott, everything. It's amazing. It's just he has such an imagination.
He's a unique guy too. He's a very unique story creator and character creator.
Very story oriented kind of guy with visuals to match it. But that's pretty much it as far as video gaming. Maybe we can get some more people involved with gaming with us. I got the Xbox One, PS4. We can start gaming it up a couple of days.
Same here. Add me. I'm DREWV 5150. Drew V 5150. My gamer tag.
For which?
For both.
Both.
Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, and PS3.
Yeah, for the Xbox, I am CJ Wolfwood. CJWOLFWOOD. And some of you may know the Wolfwood part. If you're an anime fan, that's from Trigun. It's from the Killer Priest named Nicholas D. Wolfwood.
Big anime fan?
I wasn't until I watched that.
That
I mean, I watched anime when I was growing up, but that really suckered me in. Trigun. Really good anime, man.
Trigun?
Yeah. And you got Nicholas D. Wolfwood, and that Wolfwood part always stuck with me.
Wolfwood.
So CJ Wolfwood for the Xbox, and I believe, what is it, CJ Wolfwood 01? I believe that's what I have for the PS4. CJ Wolfwood 01.
So for the PS System, add the 01.
I don't know why I did 01. I think at one time when I bought the PlayStation, I had CJ Wolfwood, and I ended up forgetting how to log in. And I did 01.
So you recreated a gamer tag?
Yeah. So you can, hit us up. We can do some online gaming, guys.
Online gameplay. Yeah, video games have slowed down a bit.
Yeah, it's because you got school coming up.
Started school. The last thing I've been playing was Rise of the Tomb Raider on Xbox, and again, still, last time I did play on PlayStation was the Arkham Knight game. Still, actually, I bought like these indie games. I like the indie games too. Okay, this indie game called Rogue Legacy on PS4. It's a cool game because it generates this levels every time you play it. You play as this little knight character.
Okay.
You go into this castle, and there's like this map of a castle you play through to find hidden objects and collect coins and stuff. It's really difficult because all you have is jump and slash.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of like villains or enemies and stuff shooting at you and coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you die, you go back into this castle, and it generates. It's a different. Every time you play it, it's never the same.
Oh,
so you're never playing the same level.
So it's a new experience every time you play.
Every time you play it. And it's really quick, too, because like all this stuff coming at you so fast. Like I've maybe lasted 5 minutes, the longest I've lasted on one level before dying.
Really?
And then you die, you come back, and it's a completely different level. It's not the same level.
And the point of the game is to see how long you...
Just like see if you can get through the castle.
Okay.
It's a quick little indie game, really fun. It's like one of those frustrating games. But fun, frustrating. It was only $5. That was recommended online. Also,
big in the gaming, I guess, competitive gaming world. A Korean player was just arrested. He's a StarCraft player for match fixing. Which
the game playing the match?
Yeah, I guess they're still haven't exactly put too much information on what's going on right now, but the Korean player, his name is Life. He was just arrested, and
is he getting life in jail?
Video game prison? No, but StarCraft is very competitive out in Korea here, and really part of the big esports you know.
Have you ever played
Platform.
StarCraft?
I can't do that turn-based stuff, man. Or not the turn, but the top view, scroll down, all that kind. I can't. I know people will enjoy it. I'm not gonna hate on that, but it's not for me.
Not for you.
But I know that's huge news and a big blow to esports, especially with match fixing.
I've seen the gameplay of it. I don't know how to play those games, so I wouldn't know how you could even come up with fixing a match.
Of course, there's more people involved. So I'm guessing he's just a big name that was, because there's coaches. You play against players, you can play against teams, so you can purposely throw a match. Playing if you're doing, it all goes back to sports betting.
Uh-huh.
So there's bets going into who's playing who's going to win, right? So you purposely throw matches. That's what's going on. You purposely are throwing matches, so whoever's putting big money has advantage.
So why was this guy singled out? Do you know?
I don't know and that's the thing. It's innocent to proven guilty, so there's not much information. We just know that he was arrested.
Actually arrested.
Arrested for fixing matches, and from what I've read so far, there's a bit of possible mobster stuff involved. So we'll see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll see where we go from there. But
so the mob's gotten into esports.
Exactly. So a little blow to esports there.
It's gotten huge over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing all these actual professional teams playing Call of Duty, these players playing like Street Fighter and Tekken and all these fighting games, like for huge prizes.
Yeah.
Huge cash prizes. And there's a huge fan base for it.
Yeah, there is. You get Counter-Strike Global Offense.
Oh, Counter-Strike, I've heard of that one too.
CSGO. You got StarCraft, and you got other games, of course, but League of Legends.
Did you get into online gaming, or PC gaming?
Believe it or not, I did. Early college years, I was playing Counter-Strike pretty competitively.
Yeah.
I had my own team and everything. Clan battles. Believe it or not, yeah, man.
Do you have a good PC for it, or?
At the time. Yeah, I bought a laptop that was worth 3 Gs.
What?
A laptop that had a video and graphic card. Think about that.
You bought it already set up, or did you?
No, I bought it set up.
Okay.
So it had actual, output for audio and video. Like it was meant for graphic design, but I was using it for
PC gaming. Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into it because we never had like a high-powered computer.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 10 minutes to download a picture of Salma Hayek and just chat in the chat rooms, AOL. So I never had like a good game. I tried with the Alice game. Do you know the American McGee's Alice?
Yeah.
Like Alice in Wonderland, like a twisted Alice in Wonderland. I actually bought that, but my computer was too slow to run it. So I never really got into PC gaming.
I had an excuse because I bought the laptop for college, and so using their amazing speed connection.
Quote unquote, bought it for college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I could never afford and get into PC gaming. I always was just a console kid with the original Atari, original Nintendo.
Oh yeah, my first system was the NES, Go NES, shout out, and then the Game Boy, that brick Game Boy.
I never had a Game Boy. I had just like the single game, like the little.
Game & Watch stuff.
Which one?
Like Game & Watch stuff, like like Tiger Electronics. You talking about
Tiger
Electronics? Oh god, those are amazing.
Where it just had the directional pad and
yeah,
buttons, and it's just the.
I had a baseball one. I had a football. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the sports
Tiger
ones.
Electronics was G, man.
What were they called? The Tiger Electronic games.
I think that's what. They're all different. So, but I know it's by Tiger Electronics.
There are certain.
Yeah, see, they're all different. I had the baseball one. There's more. Yeah, I don't think there's a specific genre to it. I think it's just Tiger Electronics, and then whatever it was about. Tiger Electronic, Double Dragon, Tiger Electronic, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, so I never had a Game Boy.
I should buy one of those and just make it into like a clock or something. I mean, that pretty much takes care of the video game aspect of our podcast today. Unless you have anything other to add.
Video games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, whoa, crazy that you reminded me. Activision is working on a new Ghostbusters video game.
Really?
And I'm so excited about that.
is this gonna be based on the new reboot / all-female cast going on, or?
I'm not sure because all I know is Activision working on a Ghostbusters game, and that I'm like super excited for because I told you about the 2009 Ghostbusters game.
Mm-hmm.
How it's very underrated and it's a very good game. It was actually written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, the original Ghostbusters.
The video game story?
The 2009, so it's pretty much a part 3 Ghostbusters movie that you're playing, because you play as a recruit in this video game from 2009. And just the gameplay mechanics are so fun. The weapons, all the Easter eggs, all the like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is in
Something
there.
else I gotta watch or play. Yeah, I gotta catch up on that.
That's a really fun game, and the multiplayer, the online gameplay of that one.
Yeah.
I played nonstop. I think I played more of that Ghostbusters online multiplayer than I have of any Call of Duty combined. Because I just had so much fun with it. It was so cool. Like all the different modes of the online gameplay was so cool.
I wasn't aware they had it online.
Yeah. I'm sure nobody's playing it now. It was like...
Server's probably done.
6 years ago. Yeah, the server probably won't connect, find any games. But that's another game you guys should be playing or have played.
Anything else to add today?
Video game wise, no. TV wise, maybe a week behind on my superhero shows, Flash, Arrow.
I like it to let it
Legends
combine,
of
so you can
Universe.
do
The binge.
a binge watching. I can't do one episode and just wait. It kills me, man.
I would prefer that more if I had more people to talk to about it, like on a weekly basis. Like, you remember those days? Did you watch this episode and you guys all talk, the water cooler talk, quote unquote?
Oh, you know what? How can we reach out to our fan base, man? Have you guys want to talk about an episode? Leave a comment. We'll talk to each other back somewhere, you know? Send an email.
Most of our listeners, we know you from work too.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason.
Jake, what's up, Jake?
But that's pretty much it for TV then, so I got nothing else to add.
It's been a slow week, yeah.
Alright, that's pretty much game over for us, right?
I think so.
Alright.
Good with it.
Thank you guys for listening. Catch you on the next one.